Ole, ole, ole. Okay, looking good. All right, get this going. Oh, what happened to the doc with the chat? Yeah. Oh, no, go over here. There. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wait, what happened in the last chapter again before? I should go check. I always forget to review the chapter to make sure I know everything I have. I know where we are, but still. One Piece. Egghead combined work. Or, no, I didn't put that in, did I? Did I put 103? Oh, there it is. Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, let's get this going. Yes. Oh, thank you for that. Uh, I'm gonna get the review started now. Let me get this going. So, hey guys, this is Turok, and today. I'm gonna review chapter 1104 of One Piece. Think, and so finally, finally got the new chapter. Oh, I've been waiting for this one, and uh, so to go over the last chapter first. No, how should I do this? First of all, I'm really excited because I was kind of I made a video about 10 months ago talking about something the Buster call, whether this place would be Buster called, and spoilers, yes, at the end of this they're gonna try and Buster call, and I was like, wow, I don't know, this is where I get really frenetic, I guess a bit about One Piece because I get so excited. I see now how the community has so much fun. Um, Debating and guessing what's going to happen, and it was just so fun to feel there's a bit of vindication that I made that video randomly talking about stuff. I was looking back at it a little bit. Boy, my hair was shorter back then too. I grew it out, and uh, it was just so much fun to read this chapter today and say like, oh wow, they're gonna I was right on something like that. And anyways, it wasn't a big deal. It was just fun to see what's happening because I was like speculating a lot of other stuff with there too, and I'll go over a little bit of that here. Um, so in the last chapter, we finished completely. It ended the flashback of Kuma and Bonnie, and Bonnie and Vegapunk had a recounseling. They made up. Bonnie had come here with the intent to make Vegapunk fix Kuma if he could. Otherwise, she was gonna try and kill him. And then she saw this memory of Kuma, and she saw all the things that happened to him, his life with her mother. She never got to know, and stuff about all the stuff that he did, and she didn't realize. We'll get to some of that in the chapter too, because it covers that. And so her and Vegapunk, yeah, like I said, made up, and then we jumped back to the present where Bonnie was trying to, she's there with Saturn, and we get a little exposition from Saturn that was very interesting. Lots to speculate with that. Um, I'll try. I never did a video. I wanted to do a video talking a bit about that stuff with Devil Fruits, but I'll have to do that another time. But the ending of it was where Kuma uh, finally ends up on the island, and they can't stop him, and then he saves Bonnie because the other Straw Hats that are there are incapable due to some unknown power that Saturn has. That I still think is Conqueror's Hockey 2.0 or something. Um, and so let's get to today's chapter. Also, I'll briefly go over that there's a cute cover art in this chapter that has Sanji in it, and that shows him serving cake, it looks like, to a couple of little mice that are going to get married. It shows a little guy, mouse, in a tuxedo proposing to the girl with a ring. It's very cute drawing in it, and it has a Christmas looking stuff to it too. That's supposed to be the berries and whatever. It looks really nice, but I don't have much else to say on that one, so I'm gonna move on. So uh so we cut in here to right at the ending of the last chapter. After Kuma saves Bonnie, he prepares to punch Saturn, and we ended right at that cliffhanger. And we come back right at that moment. I'm so glad. I'm so glad we came back right to that moment. Um, and It shows Kuma as he's preparing this punch. He's thinking about all these different things. His pain is coming back. That's all been caused by Saturn and the other Gorosei in general, and the Celestial Dragons in general. How he's been called a Buccaneer brat because meaning he's There's still something there too. I would love to know what the Buccaneers did. It feels like the Buccaneers are right there with the Lunarians as far as being persecuted in a specific way against by the Gorosei and Saturn. That'd be interesting. It sounds like whatever they did is worse. Like the Lunarians were just taken down because they were in the way. It's like it was almost like that seems like it was kind of like if you ever watched The Emperor's New Groove, that Disney movie with David Spade and John Goodman. The emperor wants to build a special palace away from the city, and he wants to he wants to occupy this hill that's currently has a community of normal villagers who probably grow crops and raise llamas and whatnot. And they're in his way. He's like, oh, you guys gotta move. I'm gonna just move in. I can do whatever I want. And that seems like that's what happened with the Lunarians, because they lived at the top of the red line. As we were told, with the Buccaneers, the implication seems to be that they did something. They were. I'm thinking they were like rebels of sorts. Something that someone. Maybe they were like on with the side of like the ancient kingdom, or maybe they even helped with the Vivi's ancestor and the and Kozuki clan and hiding the poneglyphs. So, anyways, we got that flashback, and it goes over to the panel where Akuma first met Saturn at God's Valley. Because it even says right there, he's like back then. Saturn gave him an ultimatum: you can live as a slave or die, because nothing else will be tolerated from someone from your bloodline, your tribe. It actually says your ilk. I like how they use that translation. And we cut to him talking to his father right after that they find out about his mother passing away. There's something too. I was thinking about what I don't know why anyways, I was thinking that it's possible that the way they randomly just had his mother pass away, I was wondering if maybe she was somehow experimented on by Saturn or somebody else there um, back then, Kuma's mom, that is, and that's why she'd passed away so abruptly. Oh, of course, they could have just shot her. Like, I didn't even realize back at that time that he got shot. Excuse me. That his father was shot. And then we go to the pain of him. We go to Kuma jumping to seeing Ginny, where she's talking about how when after they escaped, she's happy with her life now because they can eat whatever they want and they have a peaceful life. And then it jumps to when the last time he talked to her and that pain. And then lastly, it shows him with holding Bonnie. So all this pain is surging through Kuma as he gets this punch ready. And wait, right here, yeah. And then it cuts briefly right before this happened. We all were waiting for it. We cut briefly to Bonnie still crying as she's kind of sat there defeated by after Saturn's revelation. And while that's happening, right? It's yeah, this is happening as Kuma's jumping up. He's jumping up with his punch ready, and Saturn's right as he's about to get hit. He's like, "Vegapunk, what's happening? This?" Oh wait a minute, I gotta sneeze. excuse me. So, um, Vegamon says, "What? How can Kuma still be alive? I made use of that self-destruct bomb that you gave him, that you put into him. Why isn't he destroyed?" So yeah, we we found out what trick. This explains here what happens, why Kuma came here. So I'll get into it briefly. He when Kuma left, when Kuma abruptly left Kamumaka Island, the one I forget the name. I'm saying it wrong. That he was on with Dragon and that. When he left there, Kuma, that was because of what that Saturn tried to destroy him. He ordered Vegapunk to put a self-destruct bomb inside Kuma, but Vegapunk couldn't bear to do it, and so instead it switched off something and allowed Kuma to kind of be himself for whatever's left, and that's why he came here. I'll get into it a little better, but yeah, he says I made use of that contingency plan and activated it after the revolutionaries stole him away from Marie-Joie. And as that's happening, we get this great close up of Kuma as he's and with his anger. Oh man, the way he drew this face! I wish I could show it on there. And then he just gets Saturn right in the face. It's just such a good shot. He even looks like he's using he must be using hockey. Yeah, it's all dark, and his other fist is not. He uses hockey and just punches his face is just punched in. It's the same kind of look Oda always does a really good shots of those, like the other one a few chapters ago where Bonnie punched Alpha, that Cypher Pole 8 agent, and it's such a good double page panel of it. And he just knocks him right down. And then it looks like he punches him so much that Kuma actually is Saturn's thrown across some of the nearby buildings. Yeah, he is. So he punched him so hard that he just skidded across the buildings like like a couple 100 feet, something like that. And then then we switched to some of the Marines farther away from this, and they're seeing some of that destruction, and like, what the hell's going on? And then we switch to the ones nearby, and they're like, they're in just they got Oda drew his really good draw dropped look of these Marines, like, oh my god, he just punched one of the 5 elders. How could this happen? And Kuma's just standing there staring at where the direction he sent Saturn, and then some of the Marines are ordering, like, go help him, hurry. And then one of them's like, oh my god, one of the Gorosei was punched by a slave. This has never happened before. And then at that point, it looks like Kuma just dropping to one knee because he's really tired or something. But the good news is because he knocked down Saturn, then the other characters right there, Vegapunk and the Straw Hats and Atlas, are able to move. So Sanji, Atlas, and Frankie all run toward Kuma and Bonnie to check what's going on. And they're checking on Bonnie, and one of them's like saying, "This is our chance. Let's get Bonnie back up. Let's get out back to the labo phase. Where continue the plan." And while that's happening, though, Vegapunk's just sitting there, like, awestruck too, and he's thinking in his head his answer to, like, what Saturn just asked him, like, what happened? And like, I don't know. He's thinking in his head, he's answering, to himself what Saturn said. I don't know. Understand? I didn't install the traditional self-destruct mechanism because I couldn't bear to do that. I couldn't bear the idea of turning Kuma into a bomb, my friend, and because he also knowing that they would eventually use it like he tried to. Then he says, "Oh, so I just kept my word by just twisting." He twisted. He had to keep his word, otherwise he would be in trouble with Saturn. So he said, "I kept my word, but I put something else in it." So it only was supposed to shut. What he put in it was only when Saturn would click the self-destruct, the little red button, It just was supposed to shut down Kuma's body completely and make him, yeah, so just removing his ability to move, freezing him up, I guess. Uh, and he said, between that and your loss of the individuality that I had to do, you shouldn't be able to move now. And while this is happening, Kuma, he goes and picks up Bonnie. She's still there, just crying, and she's still in her normal form, her real form. And he picks her up and just hugs her. He brings her real close and just hugs her there. And he's still like smoking and everything. And he doesn't say anything. But he's still there somehow. And I want to stop and say, I kind of hope at this point that he's not gonna die. Like we've all been speculating, he's kind of gonna die. Even Tekking was gonna say, oh, maybe he's gonna self-destruct, but now we know he can't. Actually, Tekking's video is already out. I can't wait to see what he thinks about this. Um, um, so Kuma's still there somehow. It's so touching here. This is gonna be another good moment in the anime. I can't wait to get to these parts in the anime. I think it's gonna be like probably this time next year. We'll have to wait for. But so he hugs Bonnie there, and Vegapunk continues his little monologuing to himself, like, and trying to assess what happened. He's like, and he goes on saying, like, even with Bonnie here, you shouldn't be like this. Your individuality, it should still be gone. You should still just be a machine standing here waiting for orders. How are you doing this? How are you still in there? This is beyond anything under the science that I understand. Oh, here we go. Then he hints at something. He's like, it can't be that, can it? The Buccaneers were said to have something special about their characteristics beyond their bodies. And he ends it. Oh, he ended. God damn it! I bet something with spirit. His spirit is still there somehow, even if his brain is dead or something. And he says it can't be. He says, after all, you people were once, and it is cut. Shit. I'm guessing some spiritual. His spirit is somehow still there. It doesn't. His body's been messed up and mangled and turned into a machine, but he's still there, and he just can't communicate properly. Uh, And then Kizaru's there moment. He's like, "It's over, isn't it?" And I think what he means is like, this is gonna get worse now because they've punched Saturn. And then we see Sentomaru, and he's smiling and he's like glad that Kuma, looking at Kuma, like, "Oh, Kuma's here." This is so like. So he must have been close with Kuma too. I don't think the flashback show enough for those two directly interacting. We saw him and Bonnie a lot, but you can see he's happy that this has happened, and he's still tied up, unfortunately, at the moment. But then we switch to the Marines, and they're like, "Wait, what happened to Straw Hat?" So while this is all happening, he got away. The other one's reporting that, oh, he disappeared right before we apprehend him, and it's like, oh, what are we gonna do? We can't just call him this kind of failure. So now, I forgot to say the chapter's called "Thank You, Daddy," and this is why it's called that. We switch here to Bonnie and Kuma again. Bonnie is sitting in front of Kuma's face, and she touches him and talking to him, and she's like, "Thank you for everything you've done. I just saw your memories. I understand what you were going through. I even got to see your memories of my mom. I wish I could have met her, and I saw that you did send me all those letters like you were supposed to during your warlord tenure. I'm so glad that I was wrong about why you were wrong. That you weren't gonna send them." Um, and then she hugs him again, and he's still hugging her. He's just sitting there. He's not even saying anything still. And then she's like, "I don't care what people call you, because I know who you are. You're my dad, the coolest person in the whole world. I'll never forget that." And Kuma Jones just sitting there, but I thought he was smiling there for a second, but I don't think so. But now Saturn comes back, so the punch on phone hit him good. It's a really good punch on Saturn, but he comes back up now, and it looks like his arm. Yeah, his arm got torn off by the punch here, but it slowly starts regenerating. So Saturn definitely has some extra special abilities here, And it isn't like something associated with a spider or anything. I don't think he's definitely some demonic thing, and he's definitely got the awakening thing. So something's going on there. So he gets back up, he comes out of the rubble, and he's like, talks to Vegapunk, like, I'm waiting for an explanation. What is this? Uh, and Vegapunk says, well, it's kind of my fault. And I'm responsible. But you also could just chalk this up to the power of love, because I didn't expect this bit to happen. And and Saturn even like says to himself, "Oh man, like no man." He's like, to err is human." Is the quote? Oh, that's who's that quote from? And he's like, I was short sighted on that. I forgot about the idea that he's realizing no matter how much he's realizing, kind of like what Lilith was saying earlier when the shark android they made, or cyborg, how they couldn't fix its instincts to eat things that she told it not to. He's pointing out, I was short sighted to not. I'm paraphrasing what he seems to be implying, like that. Was short sighted to think that Kuma could be completely controlled, even if his memories were erased. Um, and as he's doing that, then that's when we see his hand come out, and it's got all these chunks missing, but it's slowly coming back. It looks like actually in the other panel, I think his hand was gone completely, and now it's growing back up. And yeah, then Sanji's commenting like, "How is he doing that? He's regenerating completely. He's still bloodied up and stuff too, but he's like looks perfectly fine otherwise." Uh, And so then Saturn says, "Fine, you guys have outlived your usefulness too." So then he takes his one leg and he tries to pierce Kuma uh, and end him and Bonnie. But Sanji, he forgot to use his Conqueror's Hockey again. I'm going to loosely call it that still. And Sanji, though, jumps in and blocks the kick with his own. Um, he calls him a dirty old spider. He's like, "You're not going to upset Bonnie anymore." And then Frankie jumps in too and says, "Yeah, we owe Kuma a whole huge debt. We're gonna help him out," kind of thing. And he gets ready to use his I think that's called the radical beam. While he's doing that, though, Kizuru's getting back into the fight, and he gets behind, ready to go after Frankie here. Oh, and actually, and well. Oh wow! I think Frankie actually does get the hit on Saturn. I thought he was still charging him when Kizuru comes, but he punched a hole right through Saturn there. Woo! But as he's attacking Saturn, Kizuru comes behind him as he does that give him that kick him, and he's saying, "Oh, you guys have certainly grown a lot. Let's put it to the test." And but Sentum, is that Sentomaro? No, it isn't. Oh, no mind. No. He does hit Frankie. Sorry, I thought someone stopped him, but no, he kicks Frankie, and Frankie's unable to react quick enough because he doesn't have the speed to deal with that. He's kicked to the ground. I thought that Sentomaro for a second came and hit, and I read that panel wrong. No, Frankie's knocked down, but then it looks like the hole in Saturn is already healing up. So he's even with that hole punched through him, it's like nothing to him. It's like, I wonder if you have to hit like a certain barrier, like he has, like, I wonder if he has like a heart where it could be like hit there. As it just suddenly starts healing again. So next, Bonnie. Oh, so the others are, while this is happening, Bonnie talks to Vegapunk, says that he's not moving. Okay, so he stopped at this point. Kuma has stopped moving, and Bonnie's like, "We gotta, someone help me. He can't move." And then Atlas comes in and says, Vegapunk orders her, "Atlas, can you help? Can you get Kuma up there?" And oh, that's right. She's like the same size as Kuma, so she easily picks him up over her head and starts taking him up toward the labo phase. Oh, so this is happening. Yeah, so Kizuru is not going to help them at this point. I saw a lot of speculation on that. I was kind of hoping he'd change his mood, but no. He's still being Kizuru, and he gets up and he's standing in front of Saturn, and he says, now that Kuma's joined us, I think there's too many players on the board. I think it's time we wrap this up. And Vegapunk just glares at him like, I'm so disappointed in you, Kizaru. Like you're a sad person. Have you no heart? Are you really gonna still side with the government after all this? And Kizaru just like, I should have just brought more. I should have brought a darker pair of shades. I'm gonna embarrass myself. So I think he's still kind of conflicted to himself. What he's trying to say, like, I don't know if he's implying he's gonna cry. But it's apparent he's still gonna fight on the side of Saturn, but like he's still acting a little like, oh, I have to do this. I don't want to do this thing. Uh, but here's the ending. The ending now is I think this Saturn, because it just jumps to this. So at the end of this, because they're saying this is getting out of hand. Wait. Um, yeah, this panel. I'm gonna do it this way first. So Saturn's like, oh, this place is getting too infested. We have a traitor who studied the taboo secrets of the world, a survivor of a bloodline that should be extinct, and a pirate awakened the power of a god. This island, I can't. This is just too infested, and he orders a buster call. It's been authorized by authority of the world government. This island is declared, a threat to the entire world. All ships take aim. Reduce everything down in the name of justice. End. And it actually ends with the part with Vegapunk. Saturn, but I thought it sounded better the other way. Sorry. So that's the end of chapter. The Buster call has been. I called it. I said a year ago or so, like this, there might be Buster calling it, and it's apparent now they're going to, because the thing was they initially weren't going to do this. They wanted to save all the stuff that Vegapunk made. They sent the Lucci and the others there to kill Vegapunk and the satellite and salvage everything else. Everything's just gone and escalated now. You got Kuma there and the Straw Hats are there and stuff. And now, the funny thing is, I don't think Saturn. It's almost funny that I would have thought that Saturn would try to take care of this himself without destroying everything, but he's definitely just seen fit to make sure no one gets away. Especially since Kizaru can't handle Luffy, I guess he's like saying, okay, this is, I should just eradicate everything. So as far as Kuma goes, I don't know what to say anymore. He's not gonna. We don't know if he's gonna die now. He's all busted up, but he's still functional. And if they can get him out of there, Vegapunk could probably fix him. So yeah, I don't know. It's just like I'm hesitant to think that Kuma really will die this time. I'm thinking too, if this, I was thinking about earlier, if this does, like Kuma does get away or Bonnie gets away, I'm starting to think that Bonnie, did I ever say that? I'm starting to think that Bonnie may end up joining the Revolutionary Army to help in their cause. She'll see from this incident and from understanding Kuma's memories that her place, her goal in life should be to focus on it and help them, just like her father did. Like she only became a pirate because that was our necessity, and she was searching for Kuma for the last 2.5 years plus. And so now she'll be like, what do I do now that I found him? Whether he dies or not, I think she'll like, what do I do now? I don't like, she's not one of those people really looking for the One Piece. That was funny too. She calls Luffy her enemy earlier in the arc, and I thought back then, oh, that's because she's looking for the One Piece too. Everyone else is automatically a rival. The way that the other guys like Law and Kid are all like, oh, we're all rivals now. We allied ourselves at the at Wano because we wanted to take down these Yonko because they're in our way, and we needed the rope poneglyphs. Actually, I wonder, did Kid even understand he needed the rope poneglyphs? Well, someone else might have known. I wonder how much common knowledge is that the road poneglyphs are the way to Raftel. I think it's not that common, but yeah. So when Bonnie said they were enemies, I assumed back then she was like looking for the One Piece also. But now I think that's not the case. It's pretty obvious it's not the case. She just wants to uh, find Kuma and go back to their peaceful life. Which, though at this point that's gonna be near nigh even more impossible. Actually, she's fortunate. I think they'll be lucky if Sorbet Kingdom doesn't get like Buster called after this, just out of retaliation and anger from Saturn. So there's that. Uh, Also, of course, it was extremely satisfying to see Saint Saturn punched out like that. This shot looks really good, although it looks like Oda, unfortunately, is still doing some stuff a little rougher. Have you noticed that? I think ever since around Wano, some of the stuff Oda draws just looks a lot rougher than, not as clean overall as some of his stuff. I was rereading Dressrosa, which how many years ago would that have been? 7, 8 years ago. And it just, some of his stuff looks cool. Some of it looks. I think this roughness somehow makes some of the action shots look a lot better. But other times, it just feels like the line art, just something about it, just looks a little different than what Odo used to do. Maybe he just wants to make it look this way now. It's just I can tell there's a slight difference in the look overall compared to a few hundred chapters ago. Not that so I'm not complaining. I again like this shot with Kuma too. When they get this really great close up of him, that I think it looks better that way. But I think it would have looked different in a way back in the a while back. I don't know. I think I'm sure part of it's because Vegapunk. I mean Vegapunk. I think Oda has been like working on a lot of other stuff recently, so he's probably uh not having as much time to make his stuff look cleaner. So I don't know. Also, I was just thinking, what's going to happen to these soldiers now? Are they going to be able to get evacuated? Or is Saturn just going to? Well, no, he wouldn't care. Hoping that I'm almost hoping that after this point, some of the Marines are going to be more like, okay, what the fuck's going on here? This is serious stuff going on. We're being privy to a government that doesn't care about us. We're just cogs in a machine. Actually, I think that's what Kizaru called himself, right? I'm just a cog in a machine. They won't be able to do anything though, because I want to keep their jobs. But I'm just thinking about how at some point some of the more Marines might start thinking like, this isn't worth doing. We're working for the government. We're supposed to protect people, but we're like busting calling things every so often now just because we're told to, and it's this justice is not right. And like Akainu's already been becoming like this too, which is ironic because we obviously hate him for what he did to Ace, but I'm starting to grow a little respect for him because he uh he doesn't like the machinations and the backroom dealings, the Fujitora too, that the Gorosei are doing, especially when you find out about them working with Doflamingo and letting him get away with all the stuff he was doing on his operations and connections and stuff. So I think Akainu, ironically enough, might be the person to like lead the charge someday in like a rebellion on the part of the military arm of the government against listening to the Gorosei. Kind of like which would be very interesting to see how that goes down. It's kind of like if you study history, as I study a lot of history, so I noticed that was always a problem that started becoming a problem for in ancient Rome. These big commanders would want to keep their army on their side, and the state started becoming worrisome about that. The Senate and state of Rome was like had a problem at the end of the Republic era that these armies would become loyal to a commander and not to the Rome anymore, because they caused it themselves. Though in that case, it was because the Roman armies used to be for all the landowners, but there were less and less of them, and these commanders started just taking random people, poor people, often people or didn't have the not landowners, and these people would spend a decade or more serving, and then they'd get a lot of money, and they eventually would be promised to get their own land. So they were like, okay, well, I don't have anything. I can earn something by working for this commander who's gonna take care of us, look after us, and help us. So this kind of, I'm bringing that up too because that's not going to happen here, but it's going to be at some point if like a Kainu and Fujitora are going to lead some kind of rebellion of saying we're not going to listen to celestial dragons anymore. Will how many Marines will actually be loyal enough to them and not say, well, we're supposed to serve the world government, but now our commander that some of us look up to are saying we don't. It's going to be quite the conundrum for a lot of commanders and the rank and file Marines, I think. Um, so who else is going to happen? So what's going to happen next? Also, by the way, we still don't have Marco, or I thought Marco and Stussy Buckingham were going to arrive, and so far it's that part's not right. So I'm wondering if they're going to come and help us, these guys escape, because now they definitely have to escape because now the Buster Call's been initiated, and this is like, what is this? I think they said they had 100 ships. When they Buster called Enies Lobby, they had only 10, if I recall correctly. Now they got 100 of them. This island is toast, and I don't even know if that. I wonder if like that laser defenses on the top can even defend against like half of the, or even the like the 10 that were at Enies Lobby. Would they be able to stop that many? Can they stop cannon fire to some degree while they figure out a way to escape? And since Luffy's escaped too, I'm hoping there'll be a fight between him and Saturn eventually. Because now Saturn's still here. Saturn and Kizaru here. The other Straw Hats. And Lucci's still fighting Zoro. So it's like, this is about to get extremely crazy. Like, Oda just keeps amping it up, and I love it. It's like, oh my god, it's like, it's been, go to Egghead. Oh, Vagabond wants to leave. Oh, Cypher Pole's here because I did something. I did a naughty thing with the government. Oh, now Kizaru's here. That was bad enough. And a bunch of ships. Now Saturn's here. Now they're gonna Buster Call us. How are we gonna get out of here? It's gonna be wild. And I don't think there's a break next week. So look forward to that. I sure am. So I think I'm gonna end this here today. Yeah. Thanks for watching.